over here in the back, you can see this is the previous generation. The first thing that stuck out to me was the top tube. You can see the top tube sloping down. That is nice. The previous version, you can see over here, had a really tall top tube, didn't have much standing clearance if you did have to dismount on the bike when you're climbing or anything like that. So it is nice they do have the sloping top tube. One thing I'm not super pumped about the top tube being sloping is the ability to maybe run 2 water bottles. You can see here clearly this is just a 1 bottle frame, unless they have some mounts on the down tube on the bottom here, which is similar to the previous version of the Santa Cruz Blur, which I had before. I'm not a huge fan of putting a bottle on the bottom of the down tube just because of mud and dirt and everything getting on the bottle, but it is better to have options to carry more water if you want to. I do use the Line Holy Rail system on my Anthem, which is amazing. It does make the bottle 2 bottles. It makes one of them sit straight up here and one is moved right here. The only issue with the top tube, I'm not sure if there's going to be enough room for that second bottle to fit here. So, but we'll see. You know, we'll see the measurements. This looks like it could be a medium, I'm guessing. It's hard to tell with the sloping top tube. A lot of the sloping top tube bikes, they look smaller than they really are because they do go so low here. But this could be a medium is my guess. A few other things you can see here, the rocker arm. This looks very beefy compared to the previous generation right over here. All right, let's go to the next slide, see if we can see some more details. So right here, once again, you see the rocker arm, very, very beefy looking rocker arm, which is great. They did have issues in the past of cracks on frames right through here. Not really on the newer 2.9er, but back in the 27.5 days, there was a lot of cracks that were taking place right in this area because the rocker arms were not very strong. They're actually 2-piece, so they would twist. Another thing to notice here is check out the chainstay. Very thick, tall chainstay right through this area here. Also, the shape back here looks lower as far as this seat stay compared to the previous model. Just as a heads up, if you're looking at this thinking there's some kind of special piggyback shock system, this is the Fox Live valve system that has sensors on the front and rear of the bike that will open and close the suspension based on bumps and everything that the bike hits. I have used that in the past on my bike. Pretty awesome system, except it's crazy expensive. So once again, I can't tell if there's any kind of bottle mounts here on the down tube just because of the mud and everything. All right, here's another shot here. You can see the rocker arm being nice and beefy. These points here a little closer together. Not much you can see in this picture compared to the others. The next picture is really what I want to focus on. This one gives us some great insight into this new bike and the suspension design. Now up here you can see this is the current model of the Anthem, and you know, they have the Maestro system, which is basically, you can see it's a 4-pivot system, and it has a pivot right here. Now what I'm noticing right now on the new model, if you look right through here, I am not seeing this pivot. So I believe that the new Anthem is actually going to be a single pivot system. That's what it looks like to me, which a lot of companies are going to. They're going to a single pivot right through here, and then having flex built into the seat stays right through here, and that way you can drop weight, you get rid of a bearing, and I think also what they're trying to do is stiffen up this area. You can also see down in here with the bottom bracket area, it looks much beefier than previous models, and I think Giant's really just trying to beef up this whole area in the bottom bracket area. That's one of the complaints I've had about the Anthems in the past because of this system here. It did feel like it had a little bit more flex in the bottom bracket area compared to some of their competitors. But very interesting here. Now this does look like this could be a prototype on the back, but it's hard to tell. I mean, the front is all glossy and everything, but this one looks like it's got some flat carbon look to it. So maybe that's a prototype they're working on and just testing it. Who knows at this point. Another exciting thing is a chain catcher right here. That's pretty awesome. The previous version, they did not have the option for a chain catcher because of the complexities of everything right in here. And it's also hard to tell what the eye-to-eye length is on this shock, just because it is compressed in these pictures. So obviously it looks shorter, but I don't think it is any shorter. It would be interesting to see too what kind of travel this has, because you know the current 2.9er has 90 millimeter travel in the rear. It'd be interesting to see if they're moving towards having 100 millimeter or even up to 110 or 120 millimeter. I've seen some people in the comments call this the Anthem X, so we'll see what happens with that, if it's actually going to have you know, that much travel to it. This is another image here. As far as the fork, Energam's running a 34 fork. This is the newer 34 that is much more like a cross-country fork than the 34s of the past. So I can't tell if it's, you know, 120, 110 millimeter, even maybe 100 millimeter. You have all those options with the newer 34. Now the angle does look nice and slack, which I like a lot. If you've seen my previous video before, I have my Anthem at a 67 degree head tube angle. Love it. It's awesome. Actually, I recently put a 34 120 millimeter fork on it. Now I'm at a 66 degree head tube angle. I'll have a video out on that soon. So subscribe if you want to check that video out later. But just as a heads up, love it. It is awesome. But yeah, this bike looks really good. I like the way it looks. At first, I didn't think it looked that great. I was just like, there's not much change here. But I think with that rear end, they are really going to stiffen up this bike in this area here. They're going to drop a little bit of weight as well. Also, as a heads up, you can see here they've changed the seat post to a traditional clamp, seat post clamp to a regular clamp. This is their 2-bolt system they had before in the past. If you do know, the previous version actually had a wedge system, which caused a lot of issues, would creak a lot if you didn't grease it. So it's good to see that they have gone to the regular traditional, 2-bolt system there. Also, the seat post looks like it's a 30.9. It looks a little bit larger than that 27.2 that they have on the previous model. So that's exciting to see that they've gone to a larger seat post size to give you more options for droppers and everything. So, but yeah, bike looks great. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about it? Does it excite you, or do you think just, it's okay? So let me know in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to smash that like button down below, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next video.